right? So they create that environment in the library for staff to blog, right? These are samples of newsfeed blog or library blog, UOL blog, and this is Library of Congress blog. Library of Congress also blog. Wiki, I think you know this, a platform where you can share documents and you edit, Wikipedia, so you can submit any topics and then somebody else also can edit, something like that. So this is what they have been doing. Libraries also use this, for instance, Public Library, use blog, and so on. Photo video sharing, Flickr, YouTube, Mega Videos, these are the platform for video and photo sharing. Okay, it's just a place where you can upload your photos and you can share with whomever friends that you invite into the system. Okay, now I can't show Flickr because we block Flickr in OUM, so I can just mention it here. But it is actually a very good place that can hold lots of images. For libraries, they use this to, if they have images, photos in the library that they want to share with users outside, you know, gambar dekat dinding tu, so they use Flickr so that people know what they have in the library, the archives, instead of coming to the physical library and see the actual images or photos. Okay, so one example, Library of Congress, they're using Flickr for their old images. Okay, this is a system whereby in most Web 2.0 you will see this symbol, RSS. It's a feed system where you can feed from Flickr to Facebook, from Facebook to blog, and so on, so that you don't have to go to all sites to update your materials. The RSS feed will just simply do that. Okay, so you don't need to really subscribe to that. Podcast is another Web 2.0 where you can download your files to phones, to your laptop, so that you can listen to it at any other time. All right? And they use this also to podcast speeches or classes. And we also have podcasts in our mobile learning that you can listen. Right. Now, social networking. Facebook is the most latest and the most, it has overtaken all this MySpace and Friendster in the old ones. It used to be MySpace ruled the world, and now Facebook has taken over. So everybody is using Facebook. It's getting slow now, but it's a good platform to use for personal and also for official use. Okay, this is an example of Facebook, Yale University Library Facebook. Don't think that Yale doesn't have a Facebook. They do. Okay, I just couldn't find Harvard. I think they don't have. Maybe they do. Harvard have the business ni ada. Harvard School, I'm not so sure. Harvard Library. Okay, so why we use as a summary, this is why we want to use Web 2.0 in the library. We want to create a community of library users. Okay, we want to be able to be the organizer of information for the students and allow them to reach out to the information that they couldn't reach themselves. So that is why we want to implement Web 2.0, and plus and foremost, it is free. It's just using my tenaga 4 karat je. So it's just effort and interest, that's all. No money involved with it. Except if you want to buy a new server. Anyway, so what we are doing in the library, in terms of the 2.0 thing, it's the second one, the social networking. That is where we really focus on Web 2.0. But for the resources that we are promoting, we use only one, which is OUM SlideShare and the podcast. These are the 2.0 platform, but the two reading lists and subject resources, those are actually the portal information where we use this social networking or Web 2.0 to promote. Okay, so not all of them are Library 2.0 system, right? So I'm going to show you just in a glance of how it looks like. The reading list is actually the list of reference in each module you have. Okay, each module that we have in OUM, we will type it again and put it up on the portal, in the portal, and link it straight to the sources. Okay, so this is called a reading list. The subject resources is where each liaison officer in the library, we have liaison officer, by the way, if you do not know. For faculty, for each faculty, we have one person who's taking care of the information. So their job is to gather all information pertaining to that subject. If it's business, then you have to get all the databases that we have in business, web resources, good web resources in business, so on and so on. So this is called subject resources, and it's also linkable from the LMS. Okay, this is a slide share. Okay, this one is a library to a Web 2.0 system where you can just upload your slides and it can be shared with anyone, right? And if they want to download, they have to be a member of the slide share, and then they can download any files or any slide in SlideShare. So that's why we call it SlideShare. This is information sharing. Don't bother about copyright. You just share information. This is the podcast. Now, the podcast that we have at the blog is the podcast from the iRadio. We have every Tuesday sessions for the library. Pukul 3 sampai pukul 3:30. 4 ke? So we keep all the archives so that in the future students can listen to it. All right. Another podcast that we have is a mobile podcast, which we work with the IDT. They have converted our slide, the previous slide in SlideShare. They convert that to a mobile podcast about 4 minutes, and you can download it. There's a MP3, and it's also just audio or video, both. Right, so this is downloadable podcast. We have the blog. The blog is actually to promote services, to promote collection. The Facebook is more of the social interaction. Twitter is more of an update. We tweet here and then will be feed to the Facebook. So we don't really use Twitter as communication, but this is more of an update, a quick update, just like SMS. Okay. And this is how it works. Okay, the Flickr, the Twitter goes into Facebook and the blog. The blog goes into the Facebook, to Facebook goes into the portal. So I update 2 places, the Twitter and the blog, that's all. Of course, Facebook, sometimes I just join in, but it doesn't really cost, doesn't really take a lot of time to do this. It's just a matter of typing in 1 or 2 lines and that's it. Of course, the blog needs more work because you are promoting books, collections, services. You need more write-ups in it, and it has to be active. You have to have entries every day. If not, people won't come. So that takes quite some time for the staff, but we have good feedback, so we are continuing this Web 2.0 and so on. YouTube, we don't put stuff in the YouTube, but we search good videos in YouTube, like study skills, effective reading, something like that, or what is podcast. So we search good videos in YouTube and then we put it up in the Facebook for the students. Flickr is just for any photos, events that we have in OUM, especially library, and we put it in the Flickr, and then it will automatically update it in the Facebook, right? So I'm not gonna read that. Gonna go straight to the actual site. Okay.